This is One Fat Boy. Here are my NBA game predictions for March 27th. Tonight there are 7 games, and I will be going over the spreads and over-unders for each of them. For the Knicks at the Pistons, I'll be leaning towards the Knicks -4, but I will say I probably would not be betting the spread on this game, as both of these teams have been playing very random as of late. I just would lean towards the Knicks in this sense, as they won their last 2. They've been playing more to win as of late, while the Pistons is more like every other game. It's like a good game, bad game, good game, bad game. So, continuing that pattern, the Pistons are also destined for a good game tonight. So that's why I'm like, I don't know who to choose for the spread, but I'd probably just lean towards the Knicks winning, so they just have better players. But also with the Pistons, like they have a couple guys who can get hot, like Sadiq Bey, Jeremy Grant, and Cade Cunningham. They can all get hot, and that could lead them to the victory. But overall, I would not touch the spread on this game. I'll be leaning towards under 222.5, as Detroit, they can just play bad on offense, and that goes for the Knicks too. Knicks can also play very well on defense. So more like pointers leaning towards an under, as currently over-under is an out as of yet, as I'm recording, so that's why I'm leaning towards it. Probably be a higher amount, but under 222.5. For Golden State at the Wizards, we lean towards Washington plus 7.5. So the Warriors, they're also like without Curry. Their offense is weird. Their one win without Curry has been the Heat, and the Heat I feel like are somewhat tanking, which is weird. But I think the Wizards, I don't expect them to win, but I can see them staying within the 7.5 margin. Like the Warriors should win. You have like Thompson, you got Jordan Poole, you have Wiggins. Like one of them can get hot. Well, like you need all three of them to play well, but like we saw Klay Thompson get hot and they still lost against the Hawks. But the Hawks are a better team than the Wizards. You pretty much just like need the whole team to play well for the Warriors, and I think that should have them beat the Wizards. But I can see the Wizards still winning this game. But I think staying within 7.5 is reasonable. It will be going over 219.5, as Wizards' defense isn't amazing. Warriors, they can still score the ball. Same with the Wizards. Like both teams can score the ball. And then Warriors, they can play defense with this group, but they haven't given up more points without Curry. So hence why I'm leaning towards an over 219.5. For the Timberwolves at the Celtics, we go with Boston -6. I think Boston, the second half of the season, and just the 22 year in general, they've been playing very well. Their defense is very good. And when it's hard to score the ball, that means you don't have to score the ball as much to win. So I think Minnesota will have a hard time, as they get a lot of points due like to a faster pace. And I think Boston slowing it down, playing more half court, that'll force Minnesota to like really have to play like half-court games, which I think that is a system and game that they will struggle with, and that Boston, that's how they've been winning their games. They're going to take advantage through experience, so hence why I'm leaning towards Boston -6. And in turn, under 227.5 has slower paced game, means less points, and Boston has been playing well defensively. Do I see them holding the Timberwolves under 100 points? Probably not, but under 110, wouldn't be surprised. But Boston, they're probably like 120 tops, I'd say. But that's why I lean towards an under 227.5. For the Sixers at the Suns, I'm going to lean towards the Suns -5, and Suns win in general. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this game is a blowout. Like, personally, I might even bet Suns minus like 11.5, but then again, I'm a Suns fan. I won't deny it. But I think the Suns, just the system they have with Chris Paul being back, like they're almost full strength. And then when the Suns are full strength, like they're really deep, they can throw multiple like groups of 5 at you. Then like if you're not used to seeing this 5, like you might get like a small little burst, which I think that's where the Suns just do really well. They can match up against any kind of scenario that is thrown at them. While the Sixers, they just need like great games from Embiid and Harden just to have a chance, or like have multiple role players just like hit their shots, so you have to respect them on the defensive end. But there's just more things pointing towards the Suns to win. I will be going over 229 as the Suns have just been scoring the ball a lot. Like I believe they've had at least 125 in the last 7 games in a row, something like that. So they continue that streak. That means Philadelphia at most has to score like 104, which is something that they can do. But I think I lean towards an over just for how hot the Suns have been. For the Lakers at the Pelicans, I went with the Pelicans -3 just for memes. Everything is pointing for the Lakers to win this game, like the Pelicans played last night. The Lakers did not, like they're more well rested. You have like LeBron James on your team, you should be able to beat the Pelicans, but I just know somehow the Lakers will lose and it'll be hysterical. So hence why I lean towards Pelicans -3. I think they'll want to get that one win so they can move up, I believe, to the 9th seed, bring the Lakers down to the 10th seed. Like this will be a playoff atmosphere type of game. Like this does determine seeding, does keep you like out of it keeps you in the play-ins if you win. If you lose, you might drop out because the Spurs are right there. I believe it's like 1.5 game difference between the 9th seed to the 11th seed. So this is very close. So very important game right here. I will lean towards over 222.5 as the Pelicans, like their defense should be a little weaker because they played last night, but honestly they should be dialed in. The Lakers, I think, should be, like you have LeBron, like I wouldn't be surprised if he has like a 50-point game because this is like a must-win. If you want to take the under, because you expect like New Orleans to be like great defense, take that. But I think LeBron might backpack really hard and just like carry the Lakers to like 112 points, 115. And then if I expect New Orleans to just match that, because the Lakers are only going to have 3 quarters of defense max, so New Orleans will probably have like a near 40-point quarter. So hence why I'm just leaning towards an over in this game. For the Jazz at the Mavericks, you lean towards the Mavericks -2.5. So Jazz have lost 3 in a row. And then the Mavericks, I think their defense is better than the Jazz. And when it comes to clutch time, I think the Mavericks can execute better overall, even though the Jazz are a solid team. But this should be a close game overall. If I had to choose a winner, it's like, of course, I lean towards the Mavericks. But would I be betting on the money line or the spread for this game? Probably not. This is one where it's like kind of 50-50. Like this will be a playoff atmosphere type of game also, because this is the 4th and the 5th seed. Whoever wins gets the 4th seed. As for now, then the loser will be in the 5th seed. So this does determine home court, as this will likely be a first round series. So kind of a preview, if you could say. But I think the Mavericks will be able to sneak away with a win. I will be leaning towards an under, as these playoff type games will be slower paced, a little more physical. So if it's a slower paced game, obviously there will be less points. It'll be harder to get baskets because the defense will be a little bit more intense. So hence why I'm leaning towards an under. For Charlotte at Brooklyn, be leaning towards Brooklyn -7. So even though Brooklyn played last night, Charlotte doesn't play any defense. And if you can't defend Durant and Irving, they're gonna score a lot of points. They could play like 7 days in a row, and they still have the ability to score 30 points each. So, like they're some of the best scorers in the game. Charlotte has no one to slow them down, and as long as those two can get going, especially if like their role players are like defending well, as you saw last night, like I think Brooklyn is getting into that playoff mode. And I think that's something that Charlotte does not have, because Brooklyn has more veterans that have that mindset, while Charlotte is still young. They haven't been to the playoffs. They only played that play-in game where they got blown out. But other than that, it's like they don't have that mentality like Brooklyn does. So hence why I'm leaning towards a Brooklyn win. And I think the Charlotte's defense will leave them far behind, because I wouldn't be surprised if Brooklyn has over like 130 this game. So hence why I'd be leaning towards an over for this game, as I think Charlotte will score a lot, but I think the Brooklyn will just score like way more. So over 237.5. Thank you for watching. As always, have fun watching basketball, have fun betting, and good luck on your bets. And once again, thank you for watching.